And welcome into this edition of ACAP Today for the month of October 2024. I'm Jason Parent with the Aroostook County Action Program. On this month's special edition of ACAP Today, we're going to bring to you an event that celebrated in late August, the 60th anniversary of community action in America, and really beyond that, the 60th anniversary of the signing of the Economic Opportunity Act by President Lyndon Baines Johnson back in 1964 that brought community action agencies, Job Corps, Vista, and other programs that you all know today into being as part of this nation's war on poverty. The event with Senator King was held in ACAP's Customer Service Center at 771 Main Street in Presque Isle, and it featured representatives from various entities that are present day factors in our society that are working toward continuing to help people gain economic and social mobility. We're going to have that conversation with Senator Angus King and those many participants from across Aroostook County on in just a little bit. But before we do that, we're first going to get to the news and information that you can use again for the month of October 2024. And we begin in our news and information that you can use with this. ACAP is continuing to offer a home buyer education class. This HomeWorks approved 8-hour home buyer education class is taught by industry professionals, lenders, home inspectors, and real estate agents amongst them in an educational non-sales environment. Now, we are holding classes, some are held in person, but the one coming up in October here is being held via Zoom on Sunday, October 22nd, and the curriculum is offered in the entirety of that day. Now, we are encouraging individuals who are looking for more information on homebuyer education classes to contact us at 764-3721 or email us at homebuyeredu@acap-me.org. There are a number of benefits in this program, including up to $5,000 toward your down payment or closing costs on your home for those who successfully complete the class and are income eligible. Now, that noted, you do not have to be income eligible to participate in the class. This class is open to anyone. Some of the benefits, however, are dependent on income eligibility at the end of the class or following the class. But it's a great class for anyone considering home ownership or looking to purchase a home in the near future. Next, we move on to a free COVID test. Yes, unfortunately, it is that time again where we are seeing a spike in COVID cases across the country. So the federal government has reissued free COVID tests for every U.S. household who are now eligible to order up to four free at-home tests, I should say. COVID-19 can help test to see if you have COVID-19 so you can decide what to do next, because like getting treatment or reducing your risk for severe illness and other opportunities. Your COVID tests are completely free. You won't even pay for shipping on these. Tests are now shipping here in the month of October, so you can go to covidtests.gov. Again, covidtests.gov if you would like to order up to 4 free at-home tests for your household. We move on to another story now, and that is the reopening of ACAP's Hope and Prosperity Resource Center at the Norman L. Fournier Place. That's the 1 Edgemont Drive property that for the last couple of years, or the better part of the last couple of years, has been under construction. Our Hope and Prosperity Resource Center, which was originally there for a period of time before construction started about 18 months ago, is now there and back on site in its newly renovated facility, and it is open from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Now, the Hope and Prosperity Resource Center is, as it is called, is a place with a purpose. It is a warm, safe, and inviting space to work on goals, especially for people experiencing housing insecurity or homelessness. ACAP coaches located in the facility work with individuals and families interested in creating a plan that is customized to their needs. Access to all ACAP programs is available to clients working with the coaches at the center, including but not limited to things like housing assistance, health and wellness initiatives, budgeting, education, and employment counseling. So this is the opportunity for folks to access all of those services in one place. The new Hope and Prosperity Resource Center is a beautiful space with a kitchen to help prepare noontime meals, as well as a shower room and laundry facilities and a computer lab set up for individuals to begin those searches for employment and housing assistance. In addition, housed in the Fournier Place are 13 units for individuals who have been experiencing chronic homelessness. that live in the facility and can access the Hope and Prosperity Resource Center as well. So we welcome one and all between 8 and 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday to access the Hope and Prosperity Resource Center. Up next, we are reminding folks that winter is not too far off, and it is now time to start, as we turn up the thermostat, to be thinking about the Home Energy Assistance Program. Hundreds of households here in Aroostook County have already been processed that have had HEAP in previous years, particularly those vulnerable households with seniors and children living in them. We want to just let everyone know what the guidelines are for this year. You can see them there on your screen, depending on your household size. There's also an opportunity this year to access the application online and to complete the application online. You can either use the QR code that you're seeing there on your screen now, or you can go to ecos.mainhousing.org. That's ecos.mainhousing.org to access that. If you are a resident of Aroostook County, that application and paperwork that you upload will be sent here to Aroostook County Action Program, where the processing of that will follow suit there. But if you have any questions about the online application or any other part of our Home Energy Assistance Program current season, you can call 768-3053. Now, for those of you watching this broadcast last month, you know that there is a cap on the number of households that we can process for the Home Energy Assistance Program this season based on the number we processed last year. So about 7,500 households will be able to access this program from Aroostook County. After that, folks will go on a waiting list, and that's how it's working this year. And we just wanted to give folks a heads up there. Average benefit for an Aroostook County household varies, but it is about $550 this year. Again, on average, and various circumstances and situations make that fluctuate for different households. Free online professional development training is being offered through Aroostook County Action Program in partnership with Photo Voice Worldwide. Photo Voice uses photos and text to explore the life experience, challenges and strengths, hopes and fears of youth in our region. The photos and captions foster respect, dialogue, create awareness, and inform change. Photo Voice participants build social emotional learning skills and practice making a difference for themselves and others. There's a series of things that you can do with Photo Voice there and how you can use it. Classes are happening from 9 to 11 a.m. on the 4th and 7th of November, the 11th and 14th of November, and the 18th and 21st of November. Again, there's a QR code there for you to register, or you can go to https forms.office.com, and you can see it there right on your screen, or you can call Teresa Dow if you need more information at 554-418-4148, or email her at tdow@acap-me.org. Moving on now to our next story. This information is regarding the Child Care Affordability Program. We talked about that on this program a couple of months ago. And you can see there the eligibility guidelines for households here in Aroostook County or throughout the state of Maine who would be eligible to receive a full or partial subsidy for their child care expenses based upon their annual income and family size, or monthly or weekly income as it might stand, as well as that's spelled out there. As you can see, those guidelines do fall within the guidelines of a number of county households here. We are encouraging folks who want more information on the Child Care Affordability Program to use the QR code there on the screen, or you can go to ccap.dhhs@maine.gov for more information. You can also call our eligibility specialist here at ACAP in early care and education, who can maybe help give you some more information on this program. And if you are a family with children in an ACAP program, we can certainly help you if we have not already with this program. Next, we are certainly encouraging folks to take advantage of this program if you qualify. This is for folks who have been out of work for a while and are looking to get back into the workforce. It's called the Quest program. And whether you're a stay-at-home parent, a recent graduate, or someone facing re-entry into the workforce, Quest can provide you with a variety of supports that includes childcare assistance, travel reimbursement, personalized job search coaching, work-related tools or equipment, school supplies and assistance, and it goes on to include work clothing assistance, car repair assistance, help with obtaining a 2-year degree program, and much, much more. Don't let anything hold you back. Get started on your quest to a bright future. If you'd like to learn more about the program or are ready to apply, you can visit us in person at our customer service center in Presque Isle. Our customer service center in Houghton can also help you with this, as well as our service centers in Madawaska and Fort Kent. You can also call us at 764-3721 and ask about the Quest program, or email us at help@acap-me.org. Moving on now, if you are in need of any assistance, you can certainly contact us here at the agency. You might not be certain what programs and services are available, but our navigation team can help you with that. You can give us a call at 764-3721, and we can help you navigate to programs and services, both here at ACAP and with our community partners as well, who would be able to assist you in various ways, from behavioral health services to all of the things that you're seeing there on your screen. Please give us a call so we can help navigate you to where you need to be. And now, as promised, we turn to the event held at ACAP in mid-August, with Senator Angus King celebrating the 60th anniversary of the signing of the Economic Opportunity Act, which brought organizations like Community Action into being. We take you now to that event.
Welcome everyone on behalf of the Aroostook County Action Program. My name is Jason Parent, and I have the pleasure of working with folks throughout Aroostook County here as the head of ACAP, with 150 folks from throughout Aroostook County. I think that's calling me into the room actually right now. Yeah.
Reminded me to remind us.
So we are so pleased to have with us U.S. Senator Angus King today. We have been asked by the National Community Action Partnership to help celebrate the 60th anniversary of the signing of the Economic Opportunity Act by President Lyndon Johnson. For 60 years, organizations like community action agencies, like Job Corps, like Adult Education, like AmeriCorps Vista, as well as Head Start, which is part of ACAP, but in other parts of the country is a separate standalone organization, and small business loans have really been helping to mobilize tens of thousands of people here in Aroostook County and make life better for people, over millions of people across the country. And so who better to have speak to that and speak with all of you today. So we've gathered folks that work both with those programs and folks who have benefited from those programs here in the room to help Senator King, who certainly understands our work very well, understand how your lives have been impacted. And so our intent is to just have a casual conversation with folks today, let you all take a moment to introduce yourself to the senator, and then just have a free-flowing conversation about the impact of some of the programs that the Economic Opportunity Act founded 60 years ago, and how they're impacting folks in real life today. So with that, Senator King, welcome again. And thank you to all of you for participating in today's roundtable discussion.
And I came here 55 years ago, first job with Pine Tree Legal Assistance, which was funded by the Economic Opportunity Act. So we're all in this together. And the Legal Services Program eventually became its own separate program, but was originally part of the Act in '64. Pine Tree Legal, I think, was founded in '67. I came to Skowhegan with Pine Tree Legal in 1969. And it was a wonderful introduction to Maine, and particularly to a rural area. People with tough lives, as you know, in a small town in Aroostook, in Somerset County, was mostly woods work. And I remember clients coming in who were probably 45 or 50 years old and looked 75, because they've been so beaten down by the physical labor that they've been doing all their lives. And I'm not going to make a long speech. I'll end with this. What I'm doing now is really an outgrowth of that, because I remember at the time having this visual image that people came to me with problems that were this big. Their legal problem was this big. And I could deal with the legal problem. But it was frustrating to not be able to deal with all these other problems: education, transportation, childcare, healthcare, all of those things out there. So now I consider myself in the same business, but now I can deal with the whole package of all the things that are necessary to make people and enable people to lead better lives. And I remember working very closely with the CAP agency down in Kennebec County and in Somerset and Franklin County at the time that we started. And it was all it was very much beginning. We really didn't, nobody really knew exactly what the plan was or how far it was going to go, but it's, ACAP has done a phenomenal job up here, and we were just touring around, and the level and multitude of services that are provided are pretty amazing. I kept thinking, where would this region be without ACAP? Think about that for a minute. The 1,100 babies that get diapers that come in, kids that are dealing with drug problems and getting help and getting preventive help, all the functions that you do, the backpacks, I mean, everything that I saw, it's moving. I mean, you're, down in Washington, I pressed paper, but you're doing the real work, and I just want you to know it's appreciated. It's gratifying to me to be able to come up every now and then and remind myself why I'm in this rack. Because the whole idea is helping people, and you're doing it on a day-to-day basis. So I want to thank you for that. And I will tell you one quick story about coming to Scout Weekend. Remember I said a while ago that I wasn't going to speak there? My wife says I say finally to like to get people's hopes up. First night at Scout Weekend, first night in May. Went to bed about 9 o'clock, loud voice, help! Help, let me out. They won't let me out, help. What did you do? I called the police. I said, I'm on the corner of Court and High Street. There's somebody really in trouble. Need me, I'll be right out. And pulled my trousers on and ran out. Police car pulled up. Just as he pulled up, help, let me out. I said, there, like somebody's in trouble. The cop started to laugh. Because I didn't realize that I moved in right catty-cornered from the Somerset County Jail. This guy really was being held prisoner. So that was literally my first night in Maine, and I'm sure that police officers had a great time telling that story, particularly when I became governor. Anyway, thank you for what you're doing. I look forward to listening from now on and learning.
So what we thought we'd do is kind of go around the room and let everyone introduce themselves, and particularly the individuals who have benefited from some of the programs of the Economic Opportunity Act, whether that's Job Corps or VISTA or Adult Education or the Small Business Administration and Head Start. And so Meredith, why don't you begin? I know that you're an ACAP Head Start participant, but also participate in our whole family work.
Yeah. My name's Meredith Donahue. My daughter Autumn is in the early Head Start, and I've been coaching through ACAP.
How has it been?
It's been a really good experience so far. I was kind of left up here alone. I didn't know anybody and had no real support network. So ACAP kind of stepped in and filled in all of the blanks. Someone to take Autumn and give her the basics so I could rest, get our house back in order, everything that it takes to put your life back after it falls apart. And the coaching, Hope has been really amazing. Just put me in touch with absolutely every kind of option to help us get through until we could get back on our feet now.
My name is Nick Weeks. I'm a program manager here over our coaching department. We handle several different things, including whole family coaching, our energy management program, A16. We also do our workforce solutions to help people get back into the workforce after either long-term unemployment or maybe they were just laid off from their job or looking for something new. And it's wonderful to be here with you.
Thank you, Nick. Hi, my name is Amy Murchison. I'm a program coordinator here at ACAP. I work in early care and education, and we serve children, pregnant moms and through 5 in our early Head Start, child care, and early intervention program, which provides services for children 3 to 5 who have developmental delays and disabilities. And I deeply believe in early childhood. I've worked in early childhood since 2005. And I've had some amazing opportunities to see how Head Start and early Head Start and childcare and early intervention can change and support families and just change their family tree or put them on a different trajectory in life.
There are people in Washington who are talking now about eliminating Head Start.
I know.
Which I find genuinely puzzling.
We all do.
I don't understand that impulse because such an enormously important and powerful program. It's very strange.
Yes, and I hope people know that when a child is enrolled in early Head Start or Head Start, there's comprehensive services that come along with that. There's family supports, there's health and wellness supports. So children are up to date with their well child checks, their immunizations. We support families making sure their children can get dental services. And those are just some of the things. The nutrition piece within our centers, we follow USDA guidelines, so children are getting nutritious meals every day. And the impact that has, healthy children are ready to learn.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Lavoy. I'm from Presque Isle. I'm an ACAP customer. They have helped me quite a bit in the last couple of years since my husband passed, and they're always there and very helpful. All I have to do is call and they'll put me on the right page of what I should be doing.
Thanks, Ron.
And I still work, so
Important.
yeah, it is.
Heidi Ratcliffe. I am the Director of Programs for the agency. I have the pleasure of overseeing our coaching services, which include workforce. It also includes energy and housing programs and our homeless services.
I'm Shyla Panette. I own Kelly's Place Learning Center, which is a daycare, which I obtained the financing through CBA to purchase the building. Kelly's Place came from a really good friend of mine that passed away in 2020, giving birth to her son. I can hold 146 kids in that building.
Do you have any problem getting staff? How are you on staff?
So, yeah, so I do. It's not that they don't apply, it's their work ethic, really. It's depending if they want to show up or not. But they're applying, it's just that they want to show up.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Senator. Thank you again for coming out. My name is Dan Humphrey. I'm a business advisor. I work at the Northern Maine Development Commission. I'm also a small business development center business advisor, so I wear a couple of different hats. But basically, I work with folks who are looking to either acquire an existing business or start their own business. Shyla was one of my first clients. She's in a particularly difficult industry right now. One of the issues that you've touched upon is, employee attraction and retention. One of the big issues from my discussions with Shyla is when, she does have a staff person that, is a good staff person. It would be much better if that person would have access to trainings and things like that they can level up and, be much more helpful to the business. So that's one area that I think, we can do a little bit better to help those kinds of businesses. Over the winter, I've seen a lot of my clients have some pretty serious working capital concerns, which can be due to a number of different things, but I think utility rates, electricity had a really big impact on businesses' ability to maintain their profit margins.
I just learned Van Buren has the lowest electricity rates east of the Mississippi.
That would be nice if their electric company worked outside of Van Buren. That would be great. I'm continually amazed at the resilience of business owners in Aroostook County. I still continually get, more and more people that want to start new businesses. Access to capital is always a challenge, but through SBA programs, the other federal loan programs, we've been able to help out those folks, but we can always use more.
Thank you. Now, are you with ACAP or you're with NMDC?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Stacy Sear, and I'm an adult education director. I run the programs in Madawaska and Working. And Dan mentioned two things that I also wanted to mention, and one of them is wearing many hats. We live in a rural state. We have some adult education directors in Southern Maine that they're an adult education director. I'm an adult education director. I'm a career counselor. I'm a personal advisor. I'm an academic counselor because we don't have the staff to be able to deal with each of those things separately. And so that's wearing many hats, and all of the staff, it's not just me as the director, but all the staff in our programs do the same thing, wear many hats. And so my previous career was in social work, and I find I wear that a lot. And so the other thing is that there's very little information about us out there. Regardless of the marketing, people don't know how much we can do for them. So we can help people, people see adult education as basket weaving and
Typing.
and GED.
Yeah.
We do a lot more than that. We are a stepping stone for so many students, and we can't survive without our partners. And so we need someone who wants to take a CNA class and can't afford it. Let's call ACAP, Workforce and Training, or let's call the Career Center, whoever seems to have the pot of money that fits this student. They need mental health counseling or drug abuse counseling, and there's no way that they can do math when they have these concerns, or they need childcare, they need transportation. We can't solve all those problems in adult ed, but we can say, okay, look, let's start with some of these barriers that you have to coming to us for education, and let's see if we can help you to overcome some of those barriers. And we can start by saying, let's set you up an appointment with this person. Let's refer you to this person. And sometimes we actually will attend meetings with the student because they're feeling uncomfortable, don't know what to do, don't know what to say, are nervous, that sort of thing. And so we can kind of hold their hand sometimes a little bit and attend a Zoom meeting with them, or actually go to a counseling meeting with them to get things started, or a lot of various things. So we do wear a lot of hats, and I do have to say that our students are so resilient, because I could not imagine being homeless, not having eaten in 2 days and not knowing when you're going to eat next, being abused, all the different things that we see, and yet we're asking them to come. Okay, let's say you need to earn 4 credits. Let's get started. So we have the flexibility to try to understand their position, because everyone who comes in is very different, and it's all individualized. And so we have to start with overcoming some of those barriers before we can even get to the education piece. So adult education, and I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but when Alyssa first came to us from another state, she said, I can't believe I waited 4 years to walk through this door. I didn't know that you could do this. I didn't know that this would not cost me anything. I would have come a lot sooner. I mean, we advertise, we go to our WIOA partner meetings, and we do all of this stuff. But the people who need to hear that and need to know aren't getting the information, and they don't understand what we do and that we are a resource. So, my program is considered a very small program, but we are expected to do everything that a large program does. Our teachers need to be certified, and directors need to be certified, and we have budgets we have to maintain, and we have to follow the rules around those budgets. So regardless if we're serving 20 students or 200 students, we are making gains. Our students are making gains. And that's what's helping to improve not only their lives, but the community's lives. Obviously, I mean, you know how all those connections are made. And getting the word out more effectively so that people like Alyssa can know that we're there. I find that's missing. And one of the other things missing is teachers. Most of adult ed teachers are part-time. And it's really hard to recruit teachers in a program where you can only offer them 23 hours a week. So you can't offer them benefits, but yet you're expecting them to be teacher certified. You're expecting them to.
Does an adult ed teacher have to be certified by the state, just like?
Absolutely.
High school teacher?
The certification's a little bit different. It's an adult ed certification, but some teachers do. If a teacher comes to us and they've already been certified, say as a high school math teacher, they may continue to maintain that certification. which is the K-12, the 9 through 12 or the 7 through 12, whatever they were certified at. They don't have to be certified at the high school level. They can just be certified at the adult education level. So there's a little bit of a difference there. But they do have to be certified. They do have to recertify. They are expected to do professional development. It's hard to recruit that quality.
Well,
When you
workforce
can't-
is a problem for everyone.
Yes, I'm fortunate enough to have 2 school districts that I serve. And so between the 2 school districts, I can offer full-time status and benefits. So that's helpful. Plus, I have a lot of support in my school district, and not every school district provides that support to their adult aides. There's a lot I could say here, a little bit of passion, but the other thing that I wanted to mention is that before I was the director, I started in adult ed doing family literacy. And one of our districts in the valley, we run a daycare center. And when our 2 districts merged, I did not realize I was going to inherit a daycare center. It's pretty crazy, the rules you have to follow and abide by, and staffing is hard. We're in such a good place right now, however, but we've been in that place where you can't find the staff and they don't show up. They just don't show up. You don't even know where they are. And so there are many hats, many responsibilities. We serve everyone from pre-K to 90 years old. They come in and they don't know how to use a smartphone, everyone in between. So,
Let's hear from Alyssa.
I moved here from Florida 4 years ago, on a whim. I moved in with my long distance boyfriend and started my life here. It did take me 4 years to go back to school because, I tried to go back and before I moved here in Florida, but everything was really expensive. Joining was like $100, maybe. Don't count me on that. Then to pay for the official GED test, it was like $75. And then if I had to retake it, it was another 75. And like, it was just getting to a point where I didn't have a job and I was spiraling. So I was like, honestly, I'm not gonna finish this. I moved up here, got medicated and stuff to help me, and now I came here, and when she told me that it was free, I was like, well, what about the test? No, those are all free. And I'm really glad that like she wants to be there to help, which is very nice because you don't get a lot of that in school, especially public school. Because I had an IEP, but my teachers would not put it to use, whatever. So it's really nice that I can, take that time like during summer to work on things in my life, like getting my driver's license and paying bills and stuff. And then I can just continue where I left off at school.
Demand.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cassidy Hansen. I was a visa volunteer through the Central Heuristic Chamber of Commerce. I feel like the biggest takeaway for me personally is definitely the experience. Fresh out of high school, going to college full time, it's hard to get a job you actually want in the field that you'd like to get into. I think this was so broad in what it gave me, all the way from answering phone calls and how nervous I was to speaking publicly to event planning and organizing. I feel like it helped me in so many different ways, and I would do it again.
it's a good job.
We had Vista volunteers in our Pine Tree offices. Vista started with, we call it OEO, Office of Economic.
Hi, my name is Lenny Searway. I'm the Executive Director of the Central Heuristic Chamber of Commerce, and we've been hosting Vista Volunteer since 2019. Cassidy joined us in 2020 for the summer term, and we enjoyed her so much, they actually offer a 12-month term at a small cost to my budget. So we kept her on for another year, enjoyed her so much, we employed her. And she didn't hide the fact that she had a life goal. which is to work with animals. So while she was with us, she had the opportunity to get her associate's degree in accounting and then her associate's degree in business so that she could run her own business. Then she started animal behavioral school before she was offered a job at the Caribou Animal Hospital. So she is on the right path with us. She learned marketing skills. She said community skills. She met a lot of people. When you're at the Chamber of Commerce, you walk in the business community, walk in the business, you meet people. And it created those connections for her to be able to know the right people, to take the right stepping stones to see her her vision to fruition for sure. So we're very proud to do that. We have hosted 5 total VISTA volunteers in the past 5 years.
Hello, my name is Cameron Wolf. I am an alumni of Loring Job Corps as well as a current staff. I am currently teaching the Advanced Computer System Administration program, which
What?
Advanced Computer System Administration. It was
I
the
don't
same.
even know what that means.
So stuff like finding your emails or getting your files for you or implementing an OS or maintain a computer. That's sort of what we do. That's where I'm here to teach the students. I actually used to be a former student of the program myself. I actually came from Virginia, then Kentucky, and then up to Maine. So when I came in on a June 4th day in shorts and a shirt, it was 43 degrees and I was cold. But over time, I got to meet the wonderful staff at Loring Job Corps, including my former instructor, Mr. Andrew Marcinek. And from the Job Corps program, I obtained my A+ certification as well as my Microsoft certification while I was here. And I made an impression on someone because I eventually was offered a job, at first as an IT specialist for the center, before I transitioned over to being the instructor for the Advanced Computer System Administration training, where I love, thankfully, I get to teach future generation of computer system admins how to do their job right.
There's no shortage of that, people with those skills.
I guarantee you can probably go online right now. There are probably hundreds of listings. Look for
Do you do any cyber training?
That would be more of Jason Chelsea or CyberOps instructors avenue. We tend to work in tandem, but it's more of the security specialist.
But that's at the Job Corps.
Yes, that's also our job.
So there's something like 30,000 cybersecurity jobs open in America right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Huge demand.
Absolutely. And it's every day you hear about a new cyber breach somewhere, whether it's, these big media companies or I could be corrected, but I've heard from the national public also had a recent data breach. And it just highlights the importance of, with all this information that's going online right now, we need to both secure it and we need to administrate who has access to this material.
The good news is we're the most wired country in the world. The
Exactly.
bad news is we're the most wired country.
It's a double-edged sword.
Does that mean we're vulnerable?
Exactly.
In many ways.
My name is Janelle Lopez. I'm here on behalf of Job Corps as well. But I also want to make note that I'm here on behalf of WAGM, which is a local news station as well.
Are we on the record? I should have asked.
We're on camera? Oh, no.
I am going to say I do have a lot to say, so please bear with me. But I am very glad to be here in this room. But I'm just going to start in giving a little bit of background with Job Corps. So I came into Job Corps from Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut, and I came in kind of in a disheveled place in life, and I was greatly seeking direction. I for sure needed to practice all forms of self-care, consistency, and everything under that umbrella is what I struggled with and what I came into Job Corps seeking. I'll start there. So when I got to the center, I was introduced to all the staff members. It's pretty large campus, I would say. There's people in all different departments. There's all different walks of life from students and instructors. But I was welcomed. They greeted me by name. And I looked at them like, how do you know my name? I've only, been here for a day. So they made it a purpose of theirs to actually know their students before we actually got there. And I appreciated that. I felt like I knew them and they knew me. So that was very welcoming in itself. And I took their computer program, one of their IT programs as well.
Did you
Cisco.
come with a career goal in mind, or were you open to what was being offered?
I was open to what was being offered. So that's one thing that they do at Job Corps as well. They offer shadowing. With the shadowing, they're able to explore all their different programs that they offer. So that's something that I did as well. And then I narrowed it down to their IT program, to which I finished and completed. And through that, you know, it was a little bit of a struggle because I came in with, you know, no knowledge, no prior knowledge. I always told people that I considered myself computer literate. But the instructors definitely made it the point of theirs to make sure they provided all the support that I needed in order to get through the courses. So that was very much appreciated as well. But I also want to say, outside of the training that was offered at the center, there were so many other resources available to, I'll speak for myself, but they're also available to the other students. But for me, I took advantage of the counseling that was offered. I'll say half of my outfit that I have on is from the donation closet at the center as well. So they provide clothing. They provide a clothing allowance. So I took advantage of that. I took advantage of, and the other students do as well, something that they call CTS and CTR, which is job preparation. After, you know, pretty much completing your course, you go into these other programs and they prepare you for the workforce. You go through resume writing, you go through cover letter writing, you practice your interview skills. There are a number of things that they do to make sure that when you reach that point to get to the workforce, you are ready and prepared. And then they have a portfolio that they also put together for you. So when you step out, you have everything literally in a book to present to the employers for them to see, you know, which you have completed, the training you have completed, the certifications you have, any awards, accolades. It's all numbered in this book that Job Corps helps us prepare prior to leaving. So I am a recent graduate of Job Corps. I just finished up in June. And right before leaving the program, there are a number of people in this room that I have worked with who have encouraged me, who have supported me since graduating Job Corps. But right before leaving, I was able to interview with Sean Cunningham, who is behind us. And through that interview, I was offered a position at WAGM. But I say that to say that opportunity presented itself through Job Corps itself. If I wasn't there, the opportunity wouldn't be there either. So I just want to also thank Christy for giving me the opportunity. That's one thing our center director is absolutely amazing at. I can't express it enough how much of an amazing job she does at advancing her students. One thing she for sure does is use her student body. And I would always look at that and be amazed at how one person can utilize so many different people to get, you know, a job done that's needed. She does a great job in that. She does a great job in advocating for her students. If you ask her, she'll say, we are the best that you could possibly get. And it's very nice to hear that. It's very nice to know that I had that support. And I'm sure they could also, you know, agree and say that as well.
Absolutely.
So I just want to put that out there as well. So in going to the workforce, like I said, there are a number of people in this room who I've worked with directly. And if that's okay, I want to kind of point a few of them out. I'm going to start with maybe Sherry back there. She's someone who I've interviewed first getting on the job. And when I came in, you know, I'm a new face. She was very welcoming. And at the end of the interview, she let me know that, you know, I came in prepared. You know, I came in with good questions to ask. And I pretty much covered exactly what was needed to cover the story. Another person that I worked with in this room is Lenise. When I came into the Center of Commerce, it was just absolute comedy. I mean, we didn't stop laughing. The interview was very comfortable, and I appreciated that. And I'm sorry back there, I believe her name is Sarah. When I interviewed with Sarah, I actually came in and I made a mistake. My battery wasn't working, my battery died. And rather than make me feel as though I made like a huge horrible mistake. I maybe am not right for the position. She helped me to kind of figure out what the issue was. And we were able to conclude that it was my battery. But I just say all that to say, all of that stems from the preparation that I got through Job Corps. Being able to communicate, being able to get into the workforce, being able to advocate for myself, being able to be presentable, knowing how to dress, all the things of the sort are the things that I experienced through the Job Corps Center directly. It all started there. And so I took everything that I could out of the program. Like I said, I was seeking that direction. I was seeking that guidance, and I could say that I absolutely got that. I for sure got that, and I would love to see and have other students and other people have the opportunity to go through the program as well and benefit as I did. Because not only did I graduate from the program, not only did I get into the workforce, I was able to find living arrangements in less than a month. And I think that speaks for itself as well. The staff members came together, they provided me with listings, and they then hooked me up with a landlord who offered me a place to live. And Job Corps helped me to transport my items to my place of living. They helped me to, when I needed to go just to view the apartment, they provided transportation for me to do that. And ever since I've left the program, they continue to stay in contact with me to make sure everything is on the path that it needs to be. So I've been supported through the program, and now I'm being supported out of the program. So again, that goes to show how much the program has to offer to people like me. Yes, I did graduate from high school prior to coming to Job Corps, and I did have a driver's license prior to, but those are some of the things that they offer through the program. And being that I come from a larger family who may not necessarily have the expenses and the money to pay for things of the sort, my nephew, he's not even in high school, and I'm putting it in his ear that there's a Job Corps, waiting for you so that you're able to get and have access to the resources needed for you to succeed in
Is
life.
Job Corps only for people that are beyond high school?
No. So you can go into Job Corps, I believe, 16 and up, 16 to 24. And you can come in without your diploma, like I said, without your driver's license, and you can get your GED, or I believe it's one other thing there, that you can get through Job Corps. So that's another benefit of the program, that's just not fitting for, what I experienced. So again, I can't say anything but great things about what I experienced at Job Corps. I also say that I am a type 2 diabetic. And one thing that the Job Corps Center did, they offered me special meals. They went out of their way to purchase food so that I'd be able to operate on a daily basis without being sick. And I don't think that there's too many other programs that may necessarily do things of the sort, but they made sure that I had resources to glucose monitors to check my blood sugar. The food, like I said, and even snacks, they didn't stop at food, they provided snacks on top of that. And that was a different expense outside of what they provided for food for other students. So I can't say anything but thank you to the program and to Chrissy, and how she has always advocated and pushed me forward. And like I said, through programs like this, other students are able to do the same, and I think that goes a long way.
Life changing.
Absolutely life changing. Absolutely life changing.
So my name is Jace Martin. I'm a current cement masonry student at Loring Job Corps. I come from kind of a rough background. I grew up in the foster care system. And prior to going to Job Corps, I was actually homeless. And I heard about Job Corps through a friend of mine, and I contacted them, and within 2 weeks' time, I was at the program taking cement masonry. And big shout out to Miss Christie for always pushing us to be our best. And Didn't Janelle get everything that I was gonna say, so.
Repeat it.
Well, and Jacob headed to the University of Maine at
Yes.
Orono in just 2 weeks, so
Yes,
That's
don't
amazing.
forget that.
very excited.
Great.
I don't mean to go back, but I just also want to say, these are also two people who I interact with on the campus, may not necessarily been on like the closer levels, but at least passing and saying hi and things of the sort. Cameron came into the classroom many times to help us in regard to our computer systems. So it was very nice to see as a student, knowing that he was a prior student as well, that he was being utilized and that he left with opportunity. So it was nice for me to be able to witness that as well. And again, just friendly faces like Jace, and everyone else around the campus, just being supportive of each other in the student body itself, outside of the staff members. So I just wanted to highlight that as well.
Yeah, I think you're doing something right.
I don't have anything left to say. I think the only thing I could add, I mean, just thank you for having the opportunity to listen to anybody. And Susie, like, I have some ideas of ways we can partner, and I just want to appreciate you, Senator King, for your support, and Jason for bringing
It's
everybody.
Job Corps funded through the
It is, yes, under WIOA. So.
stay with it.
So we're gonna keep with it. So I just, want to appreciate that. And I think I would just add, as a participant of, around this table, is that these organizations, we do all work together and we rely on each other. Just, it's nice to hear Janelle identify community members in just a short time. And she's transitioned from the program into the workforce here in our area, that you've helped her as well. So I gotta give you a little shout out, Sarah. Thank you so much. And Sean, of course, for being a mentor to Janelle as well. But I think it's important for us and our organization, not just to provide the training and the resources, but for our students, if you didn't feel it from them, they long a sense of community. And this community here in Aroostook County provides them with that. They feel it. That's why they've moved. That's why Cameron, he's gonna wear shorts in the winter and now he's adjusted to that. But I think that's just an important aspect. when we talk about-
Maybe next season.
Okay, that's fine. Filling the workforces, it's nice to have people move to our state and young people to stay.
You have no idea how important this is to me to hear the real stories rather than just a line on a budget in Washington. This is, it really makes such a difference, and we're talking about changed lives. Not only at Job Corps, but the WIC program and Head Start. We're talking about changing lives, and it's an important time. So I just want to thank you for making it real. Now, here's my main message. Be in touch. king.senate.gov. That's my website. That's my official website. You can contact my office. You can contact Jordan up here in Presque Isle. I can't fix problems I don't know about. So if there are issues with programs, with funding, with prescriptions, with requirements that are unnecessary, let me know, because I know a guy.
How much time do you have today?
Yeah, I mean, we can get
Because I know we're going into speeches and I totally cut myself short.
But seriously, I have an absolutely wonderful staff. As I say, Jordan is full-time here at Presque Isle, and that's what we're there for. And you need to tell us if there are specific things. It doesn't help to say the Department of Labor is being mean to us. It helps to say they're using section 40B2 in a way that we don't like and we think is harming the program. Then I can, you see what I mean? Give me something, give me specifics to work on. SBA, done quite a lot. So that's my homework for you, is to be in touch. Don't wait for a meeting at ACAP. And I think, can I give you a little lecture on the federal budget?
Anytime, Senator.
All right. I think we'll find this interesting. There's always talk in Washington about cutting the budget, we're spending too much, do away with the Department of Education, all those things. So I went back and looked at the federal budget since 1963. And as a percentage of the the economy, it's a percentage of gross domestic product. That's the way to measure it. Dollars change because of inflation and the growth of the economy, but the apples to apples is percentage of gross domestic product. Domestic spending, which is what we're talking about. Education, labor, national parks, Department of the Interior, all of that. In 1962 was 4% of gross domestic product. In other words, 4% of the economy went to those purposes. Today, it's 4%.
Of course it is.
Flat. It's exactly the same as it was in 1962. Now, here's the one that's going to surprise you. Defense is the part of the budget. No, it's not. It's the Department of Defense. It's the military, Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Air Force. In 1962, defense was 9% of GDP. Today, it's about 3.1%. Defense spending as a percentage of our economy is fallen by 2/3. Doesn't that surprise you? Because all you hear about is all this money we're spending on defense. And then the rest of the federal budget is what they call mandatory spending, which is basically Social Security and Medicare. In 1962, the parts I was talking about, the domestic spending and the defense budget, was 70% of the total budget. 30% was Social Security and Medicare. Today, it's the opposite. Today, defense and domestic spending is 30% of the budget, and 70% is up top. Did I get it backwards? It was 70% discretionary spending in 62, now it's 30%. And not all, but a great deal of that, what they call mandatory spending, Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, is healthcare. Is healthcare costs, which has grown so enormously. And for example, and it has to do a lot with, our population, 10,000 people a day now qualify for Medicare. Every day, 10,000 Americans qualify for Medicare. So that explains a little bit about why that part of the budget is going on. But this is a long way to get at. We really need to talk about healthcare and healthcare expenses and prevention. Prevention, we have a huge amount of healthcare expenditures that could be prevented. For example, Medicare will pay for a broken hip if you fall in the bathroom. They won't pay for a non-slip bed. How crazy is that? So we all have to be thinking about, and just today, you may have heard on the news, we finally got around to negotiating some discounts on drugs for Medicare. It's going to save the Medicare about $6 billion a year. Medicare recipients $1.5 billion a year in out-of-pocket costs. That's something that should have been done 20 years ago. So there's no point in that, what I just told you, except to just give you a sort of big picture. And when people say we're going to balance the budget by just, wiping out the Department of Labor or the Department of Education, it wouldn't even make a dent. We're headed into a tough time. We have to address these problems. But the target I'm focused on is the cost of healthcare and the cost of prescription drugs. Prescription drugs are $50 billion a year expense for Medicaid. That's the kind of thing that we need to work on. I don't need to tell you up here. You can go across the border and get the same drug for about half of what you pay here. Very same drug. And that doesn't make any sense. So I'm sorry to have launched into that, but I think people need to get a feel for where all this budget stuff really is. And trying to cut out, I was thinking as all of you were talking, trying to cut out Head Start or Job Corps or something like that it's self-defeating. I mean, we've got people here who are contributing members of the community and the society and taxpayers, and that was done because of education and programs like Job Corps and all the other programs that you all run. So I'll go back to the beginning. It just means a lot to me to hear what you're doing, and please let me know if I can help. What you heard.
I think, Senator, from the perspective, and I think what Heidi was alluding to, and I'll let her pick it up from here, is when the Economic Opportunity Act, which we're commemorating today, was first launched, the intent was to try to remove obstacles and remove barriers and to try to bring together what was needed to serve families and individuals. And as an agency, one of the things, and one of our veteran employees, Sue Powers, who's been with the agency for 43 years now, has watched that shift happen over time, where you have a family and a household who turns to us because the crisis at the moment may be that they can't get their car repaired because there's not enough money in the budget to get to work. And so what we're required to do is sort of play a game of whack-a-mole with them, where we say, well, we don't have a program for that because you're already employed. And so we can't get into WIOA for that to help repair your car. So let's talk to you about maybe home energy assistance so that we can offset an expenditure in your household so you can pay for the car repairs. But 2 months after we've actually effectuated that savings for you, you've lost your job because your car wasn't repaired and you couldn't get to work. And what we've tried to do, I think, here in the agency is to try to reverse some of the effects of that erosion of that concentration of the Economic Opportunity Act to really be able to provide the supports for people where they are and where they're needed. And so that approach, I think, Heidi, is what maybe you missed in your introduction that we might want to go back to for just a quick moment here.
Yeah, I worked for the Community Action Agency for 15 years. This was my first job out of my social work degree at the University of Maine Presque Isle. And I spent the longest time trying to find the right place because I wasn't going to work for anywhere. I wanted to work for a place that I truly believed in the mission and vision. And that is every single day here at the agency. What I have found through the transition of the 15 years is a lot of heartache and a lot of frustration. We are fighting for people who are marginalized, disadvantaged, singled out, stereotyped. The sky is the limit. And our services and our programs that we're offering and providing are working against each other. I have a welfare cliff benefit tool that we teach all of our coaches to educate individuals on. This is what you're making at a level entry job. And if we plug in, if you go to school and you get a degree and you get all of these pieces, you plug in what it takes. The tool, which is supposed to work as an incentive, actually does the exact opposite. It actually deters people. And so you wonder why you're not getting employees. We're not getting employees because it's actually hurting people to join the workforce.
Why is that?
It is more beneficial to be, and I need you to hear my heart because again, I'm 100% community action. If you get a job tomorrow, you're an unemployed individual and you get a job tomorrow, you instantly are cut off from food stamps, your rent instantly changed, every single thing changes. There's no temporary, let's adjust to this, it's removed. Why would I want to go to work? I'm not incentivized. Those are questions that our programs, which were originally set up to help somebody, is deterring. And we've also, speaking of the workforce, exactly as Jason said, we have people coming in with all of these barriers and they don't fit into a cookie cutter program. They just simply don't get the program, not because they're not deserving or they don't have a wonderful situation or a problematic case, but most of us that are in this room are one life event away from being in the same situation as anybody else. We're never going to stop generational poverty unless we truly work on teaching people the skills, teaching people to show up on time, teaching people to do these pieces and providing them incentives.
What's your suggestion on this?
You do not have enough time in the day.
One suggestion I have is it should not be a cliff. It should be a
tapering
a taper.
It's a cliff. It is a drop off. And we have staff that we try to give raises and they say, I can't take it. I can't take the raise.
Because I will then be disqualified from something or other.
So we're fighting against ourselves. I want to empower you, give you more freedom to do those funds anywhere else. But I can't even give our employees who so deserve even more than I can offer because it is going to counteract their housing. And now they won't have that fallback, that coverage that they have so wanted because they're scared to go back into homelessness.
Well, there are two ways to look at the problem you identified. One is the cliff and the benefits. The other is are wages in the private sector high enough? So,
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I think Heidi, to the extent that there's I want to just put a positivity to this just for a moment here, is that we've had the opportunity, and it's a tremendous amount of work. Our finance people are here, the folks who work with the families directly are in this room. And the opportunity to be able to flip the switch on this work and to try to do things, we're swimming upstream. I mean, we had agencies from St. Paul, Minnesota, from Kansas City, Kansas, and from the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont come here to Presque Isle in the last 2 months to learn how we're doing blending and braiding and trying to do unique things. We say blending and braiding, but it's really backflips and cartwheels. And for a 50-year-old man, that's not the easiest thing in the world to do. But I would say that this team here, working with individuals like Meredith, and young families have really tried to flip the switch on that. We just need a little bit of help to deal with things like the welfare, but the opportunity to re-engineer that work and to maybe go back to what the initial intent of the Economic Opportunity Act is really happening because of these folks.
Well, the Economic Opportunity Act was designed to empower people.
Absolutely.
That was the fundamental purpose.
We have the skills and the talent to be able to do that. You heard from all of the partners. There is not one partner that is not willing to work together and to do that. And together, we all have to be together to be able to do that. I think now more than ever, I know our agency is transformed into no longer providing one service and one Band-Aid. We look holistically at an entire household. And if we aren't that service provider or that person expertise area, we connect that person to an outside entity to ensure all of those needs are met. I've got to tell you, to be truthfully honest, my contract doesn't allow me to do that. We do it because it's right and what's best needed to move people from generational poverty. But I have such strict contracts that say you can't work with this person unless you're doing X, Y, Z, but really they need LMNOP. And so we do it because it's what's right. But we're questioned.
I want to go back to the whole not getting enough money or too much, then they lose things.
Mhm.
So I have an employee that I just had here. She was a single mom. She moved here from Portland and she got housing. But because she worked 40 hours, her payments for that housing was $500 something for a single mom that doesn't get anything anymore because she made too much. Well, I had to cut down her hours and now I'm having 2 or 3 days a week that I don't have her and then I'm understaffed. So, but
So
she
that's a
needed,
case where the supposedly helpful program is actually a barrier.
yeah. Because now I'm short-staffed in a childcare facility that I have 89 kids in. And I can't grab someone from another center, or I can't call anybody because, well, no, I can't because then I'll make too much, or I'm not having someone come back this summer because she made too much last year. So now I'm in this pickle that, yeah, I can be in a room, but I can't be in 3 rooms.
I think Meredith wanted to add something.
We got stuck in a situation with Cliff, where if I worked my way back into my old employment, I was a music teacher. I bachelor's degree, I was fully certified. After head trauma and an assault, I wasn't gonna be able to. The disability system takes so long. It's been almost 4 years and we're stuck. I can't take anything because if I can do even this much work, then I can do all the work.
All or nothing.
It's all or nothing. There's no way to work your way back in. So it's wait till I'm completely healed or get disability and then re-enter the workforce.
Keep talking, I'm learning.
May I make one point about the welfare clip?
Yes.
With my son, he was on main care for a while. He got a job. He got the affordable care, $44 or $80 a month premium, $6,000 copay, or he had to pay before.
That was the
getting coverage.
deductible.
The deductible. And he has a medical condition, so he needs to see his regular doctor and a specialist and take Eliquis for life. He couldn't afford it. So by having this job, he couldn't afford his health care. He's got a good job now with good medical, thankfully. But the main care, losing that main care is a big deal if you're going to work, even more than your housing and food stamps. And your medical is a big, big deal for people.
That's our board chair, by the way, Trudy Cornwell.
Sorry for interrupting, but I mean, that's huge.
I think Heidi put it more put it very clearly that it's a deterrent to achieving just what we think we want, which is independence and empowerment. That's, other thoughts on this?
Well, I think that the regulation on all these programs is fantastic because we need to make sure that if we are spending taxpayer dollars, we're spending it efficiently and well. Some of the controls that we have on it compared to the limits that we have are self-defeating. If I have a person who their car breaks down and they lose their car and they don't have an ability to get to work, I can spend $2,000 to buy them tools to get into a new job, but I can't spend a penny on getting them a car. And you've talked to people throughout the state. I've talked
It's like Medicare and the hip replacement versus.
100%
So
technology.
I've talked to other CAP agencies and the single biggest problem we have throughout the state is transportation, getting people to work, getting people back from work. We had an individual that had to look at selling his house because when he lost his license because of a medical reason, there was no transportation to get him anywhere that he could work. He couldn't stop working, but he had to stop
Does
driving.
ACAP have a van system? And in Southern Maine, there's some public van systems.
We partner with a regional transportation system, another regional transportation provider, but their services are very limited as well.
They're set up to get someone to the grocery store on a Saturday, not to get someone to work reliably every day.
Especially if they're off of a traditional work schedule.
We have an individual right now that he was released from jail. He was a nonviolent offense, nothing that would turn off an employer. But because of that, he lost a lot of the money that was required for him to do maintenance on his vehicle. We have difficulty finding him work because he's regionally located in a very rural area that we can't get him anywhere to do this. He's perfectly capable of working. He's reliable. He wants to be there on time. He's shown up on time for all of our meetings. But when we have the very little public transportation that we have, sometimes we'll get a panicked call from him that, I'm going to be an hour and a half late because the bus isn't here to pick me up yet. We can't get someone a job and then tell the employer, yeah, well, he might be 3 hours behind or 3 hours early, depending on when the bus is running that day. It's very hard to sell that to an employer that they're looking for consistency in the first place. So the controls that we have the money to spend. It's just we don't have the right place to spend it. In public service, I came from working private sector. And this is the first time that I've been anywhere where they're like, oh no, we have to spend that money because otherwise we don't get it back. But there are so many controls on the way that we can spend money. We can't help the people that we're attempting to help because there's so many controls on it that I can't use it for the needs this person has. I have to use it for the projected needs of this entire community or this entire country. Anything that we can do to personalize the way that we're spending this money and to have a justification system behind it. We can provide documentation all day that shows this person needs to get to work in a car. It's not a hard thing for us to do, but we don't have a method to be able to do that because the controls on the system are so rigid as that we can spend the money on.
Transportation for work is part of work.
You think so?
It's just like having a road. In order to get to work, you gotta have a road and a car.
I will say I have an employee that has a bike that bikes from Mars Hill to my daycare on the Holt Road every single day.
And that is so common.
Yeah.
We buy bikes
You
for
ride the bike
neighbors.
from Mars Hill to,
Mars Hill to, on the Holt Road, right, like in Presque Isle.
We can't buy a car, but we can buy them bikes, and we have absolutely bought more bikes than I would ever like to admit. And so and you see the customers in the snow tracking.
Yep.
And to get to work.
And they're the first ones there. Never had a late day. I mean, it's dedication really, because they need to work.
A job that like Dollar Tree was my first job and I got it just because I'm gonna be honest, Dollar Tree's not a great employer. They don't really care much for their employees. I was working in the Dollar Tree in Madawaska by Martin's and then in 2021 and then we shut down because we weren't making enough. And I don't have my GED yet. But as I'm throwing out, applications here and there, I'm going to these interviews as early as they want me to go and I'm doing the most that they want. But the second they ask, like if I have a GED, it turns them away and it's not, and I get why, I understand to a point that why they do it because I know sometimes some workplaces want you to at least have something like that, which is valid. But I also feel like at some point, like, there should be kind of like a plan. I'm just trying, like my boyfriend works at the paper mill at Twin Rivers and he makes a good money. But as much good money as he makes, I would also like to have a better income because I work as a dishwasher and I love my job and I love my coworkers. But I don't really feel like $100 every Friday is gonna be enough to pay a $700 rent. My boyfriend pays all of it and it makes me feel bad because I wanna pay half of that too. I live there too. We have 2 cats. I do most of like the feeding, the cleaning. We make it work, but like I also want to be able to get a job where I know I'm gonna be able to have enough money to do something if my boyfriend somehow just doesn't. And it's really hard to get a job when places are like, oh, well, we want someone to work there. I'm willing to come in whenever you need me to. It's just you're not gonna give me a chance because I don't have like a high school diploma or anything. And like I said, I understand why they do that sometimes, but sometimes I feel like it's not really relevant compared to the work ethic. Like, sure, I might be a little delayed, but that doesn't mean I can't help out a customer at a register. That doesn't mean I can't put tomato sauce on a shelf. That doesn't mean I'm less capable than anybody else, because I feel like I'm not someone who speaks up a lot to things, but I feel like when it comes to like jobs and education, there's so many workplaces that are like, yeah, we're willing to hire anybody, but as soon as you mention that you don't have a GED or anything, they're like, oh, we don't want that.
Can that lady next to you help you get that GED?
Yes.
And this lady can help you get a job, so.
Came to the right place.
Talked to like so many people after this meeting.
I have a good job. It's not that I don't, but I mean, I work in a restaurant and I work at Dolly's and I love all the staff there, you know, they're amazing. I just got back from Florida, because I had to take a family emergency and I don't really ever call out unless I feel the need to, because I'm just not that kind of person, but I'm always taking extra shifts. I've always covered people's shifts. I've gotten several times from my boss, you're one of the people that I really, really trust. And I think that's a good, like, it makes me feel good that my boss, out of all these employees that are here, she's like, you're one of the people, I wouldn't say the only, but like one of the very few people that work here that I can actually trust to come in when someone called out last minute, because I have no problem doing that. And I have no problem doing any kind of work ethic that I need to do. It just sucks when places don't give you a chance because they think you're not smart or something because you don't have like a high school diploma or something. They just automatically assume, oh, you're not smart enough for this job. When in reality, what does a GED have to do with putting food on a shelf or helping someone at a register? I mean, I get it, but I mean, I don't really think that it's important to a degree. Because, I mean, I worked in retail and I'm gonna be honest, it sucks. Because people think that.
Can I quote you on that?
People think that retail workers are just robots and you'll do whatever they want because you're retail. And a lot of it really, yeah, when I worked at Dollar Tree, it wasn't a great experience. So, I mean, I was glad that I got my first job in that sense because I could get something started. But it's also hard to find a job when places don't give you a chance because they think you're not, I don't want to say dumb, but like you don't have a GED, so they're like, oh, you probably couldn't even figure out how to do this. So it's like, I don't see why GED would be important.
That's one of the barriers. Add on if you have a potential criminal background history, or if you have a potential mental health barrier or a substance misuse issue. And you're compiling and now contributing to the workforce also.
And I'm gonna be straight up. I'm on Lexapro and I've been on it for 2 years and I can tell you throughout the different kinds of antidepressants that I've been on, this one has really calmed me down, my anxiety and my depression. I hate saying that because like, I hate saying that I have it because it's easy, but it has helped me a lot in terms of focusing. I'm not worried as much, but it's still stressful when, you know, you go out of your way for these jobs and they're like, oh, I don't even want you. They don't even glance at you. And it's kind of like, well, why are you complaining you can't find employees if you're not gonna give people a chance? I just think it's a little hypocritical. Is all.
Thank you. I have a 50-year-old suggestion for you. When I was in Skowhegan, working with the CAP agency, we started a co-op garage where people could come in and repair their own cars. And, you know, it had various facilities and tools, and I think there was an instructor. And now cars are much more complicated today. I don't know if it's harder to repair, but it's a thought that it might be, if transportation and cars being out of service is the problem, that I'll share that with you for free.
Thank you so much. I know that when the state was considering a program called Working Cars for Working Families, for a period of time, we were having discussions with Northern Maine Community College, which has an automotive tech program, about being able to provide some of the levels of support, because we were going to be able to actually purchase used vehicles for some of the households to be able to get to and from work. And that was one of the sort of contingencies we were looking at to be able to sustain that program, to be able to make sure that those repairs could be done by having students who are working in those programs actually help.
Well, this is in the future, and I know there's still a lot of work to be done, but electric cars are a lot simpler.
Inexpensive.
Practically no moving parts. They're expensive, but the prices are coming down. And this is 10, 15 years in the future, but that's gonna change a lot.
Can I ask a question? Just as you guys are speaking, I'm remembering before graduating from Job Corps, I was reaching out to ACAP, and what I found online was what you just mentioned in regards to cars being available for people who needed transportation to work. But that wasn't a program that I believe that they offered. But I think was mentioned to me was, I think it was a reimbursement for gas mileage. So that's something I wanted to highlight, and I'm not sure if that's something that's impacted from, how do you pronounce it, the Economic Opportunity Act. I'm not sure if that's something that's directly tied to it. But I just wanted to mention kind of one positive of that, and if it is, you know, connected to that, that it's something that's offered through ACAP as well. It's something that I looked into before graduating from Job Corps. Just wanted to put that out there.
Ma'am.
$4,000 guys too?
We do a trial together.
Could you guys?
I'm sure.
If you need cars to practice on, I'm sure that.
I feel like I'm.
Well, folks, the next thing we want to do, so we can keep the senator on schedule, is we want to try to recreate this photo, but it's much more diverse than this photo was. There was one little woman in the blue dress over here in this photo, but we've set up.
Don't ask me, I'm not gonna
know. We've set up outside. We're going to invite our staff to join as well, but we want all of you to be in this reenactment photo out front. We do have pillars. This is the Rose Garden at the
Do I
White
get to
House.
be LBJ?
You get to be LBJ, and you. Senator will actually be signing letters to give to representatives of each of the organizations present that were founded through the Economic Opportunity Act, for them to take back, because next Tuesday is the actual anniversary of this photo being taken when LBJ signed that act. So you, in fact, will be LBJ.